The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Malam Muhammad Bello, has explained why his administration is enforcing the policy on parks operation in the nation's capital. He said that his administration decided to revert to the policy in order to ensure the attainment of 40% threshold of green areas in the city. Bello gave the insight when the management of the News Agency of Nigeria (NAN), led by its managing director, Mr. Buki Bonle, paid a courtesy call on him in Abuja. Bello said that the abuse on green areas had affected the ecosystem, adding that government realized sometime in mid-2000 that it was simply impossible to maintain all the green areas.
The whole concept of the park policy is to make sure that these green areas within Abuja as a city and to some extent part of the territory are left green to be able to meet the 40% threshold of green areas. Abuja was way ahead of many cities in the world in terms of climate considerations. And the whole idea was that you develop these green areas to make them truly green, with vegetation, with green lawns, with flowers, and then trees. That was achieved to a large extent some years back, but with population growth of the city and then the demand for housing, the demand for land, if we are not conscious about it, then we may derail ourselves and just make it a concrete city. A park in the real sense of the park, like we see in other countries, neat, clean, with sidewalks, with areas for playground for children, playground for family members, and areas of relaxation. And everywhere in the world, these parks have opening times and closing times, and normally they are done in the daytime, maybe 8 a.m. or some cases 7 a.m., and then by nightfall they are closed.
According to Bello, Abuja is a city where most people are workers, and creating parks in neighborhoods is to enable families within each neighborhood to have a place to relax.
But as time went by, all those almost 95% of those who got parks under concession converted them into areas that, as a matter of fact, abuse the environment. Instead of temporary structures using environmentally friendly material, they started constructing concrete solid structures. And instead of making green areas, they started creating concrete pavements. So that totally jettisoned the idea. And as time went by also, these concrete structures and permanent structures started being converted into areas where a lot of things were done wrongly. And a park that was meant to be an area that will bring aesthetics, like you see in Central Park of New York and maybe Hyde Park in London and so many other cities of the world, gradually were converted to places where criminals will stay there. Because it's an open public space. They will stay there in the night until midnight, and after midnight you know what they do in the city. They create havoc. It's there in many of the parks. And because the park owners have not been able over time to invest to maintain it green, because it was easier for them to say, okay, let me do, we can understand snack, you can have snack bars, barbecue, ice cream slots, barbecue spaces, juice and all this. But then they became permanent drinking joints and permanent night clubs and night activities, to the detriment of all the surrounding residences. Not to forget that Abuja is a city where most people are workers. In many of these neighborhoods, the whole idea was that you develop a park so that families within each neighborhood will have a place to feel free and relax and bond as a community. But because they became something else, you go there, your handbag is snatched if you are a lady. Your phone is not protected because people are under the influence of drugs, and then families cannot venture even there in the afternoon because many people have just made it their own abode. Some of them will go under the valleys and create shanties. All the laws were there when the whole idea of park policy was initiated in the mid-2000s. But as time went by, institutions saddled with the responsibility of enforcement and monitoring didn't do their work. And that's the crisis we are now facing in the city. What we are trying to do now is to revert back to what is right, what is done in all parts of the world, and what Abuja intended with the parks policy. But unfortunately, as you can see, the social media is awash with all kinds of negative narrations. But you, as managers of public thought, I thought I should clarify this to you so that you can really understand what the issues are. And then, of course, you will provide audience to our people in parks, in development control, our media people, and also our enforcement people, so that this is the message. As a country, generally, we don't push for our rights. All the neighbors have been, crying in silence, accusing governments, complaining in silence, but nobody was willing to confront these people in the parks. And now that we are doing our work, quietly they will commend us, but nobody is coming out there publicly to support us, So I think it's very important that you, as a very important organ that is controlling public conscience, should also be in a position. So I thought I will use the opportunity of your visit today to really publicly mention that these are the issues.
Earlier, Mole had expressed the readiness of NAN to partner with the FCT administration to advocate and to educate residents to be conscious about their surroundings. According to him, it is the responsibility of every citizen to protect what the government has put in place. He also commended the minister for his achievements in the area of infrastructure development and provision of other basic social amenities.
Abuja is beautiful. People make it beautiful. The hands construct and can destroy. You use your hands here to construct and reconstruct. And it's in our own little way to protect what you have done. And even without telling us, we have been doing that and we will continue to do that. Abuja had changed tremendously, to my pleasant surprise. And I salute your effort in that regard. You've done so well. Even a blind will see what's going on. We think about you every day. Thinking about you every day in a positive manner because of what we see, what we witness, and what we enjoy in the Capital Territory through you.